crafty friends, so I'm back with the second part of the junk journal tissue box folio. So if you remember, I made an accordion fold journal, and that was all using those tissue boxes. So I've obviously got the cutouts here for where you get the tissues out. Now the next part is obviously me going to be decorating this. So what I've done is I've cut out, as you can see, all the bits and pieces that I'm going to need over here, and I've got bits and pieces that I'm going to use over here. So the first thing I'm going to go and do is I'm going to go through those books. I said I was going to use a Sharpie on this, but then as I turned my camera off, I thought I'd have a different idea of using washi tape, because I just think it will last longer and it'll blend in a little bit better. Also what I've done is I've gone through the journal, and I've already kind of prepped things that I want to use for pockets, which kind of like wastes time when I'm videoing. So yeah, all these parts where obviously the green of the tissue box is showing through, I'm just going to come along with some washi tape, I think the word then, and yeah, just cover up those kind of like pieces there. So I am going to put a bead of glue along here at the same time as well, just because washi tape doesn't always stick amazingly. So I'm just going to do a bit of both. So top to bottom, and washi tape will also sort of go in with that fold as well and blends the bits in. Matt's using contrasting colours. I think it looks quite nice to have that kind of like, almost like it is the fold. Then fold it over and obviously make sure that that's okay in there. The next one I've got to do is on this fold on the outside. And again, just coming in with a little bit of wet glue. I've got this nice text tape. Just going to make sure I've got this in the right place. Just cutting the ends off so they're nice and straight. And then again, just popping that down there. And that masks over that join quite well. And again, give that a good old stick down. This one I'm not too worried about because this was the inside of the envelope, inside of the tissue box, so that's actually brown anyway, so I'm not going to worry too much about that one. Same on this one, it's brown from the tissue box, and same on that one. So where they were brown, because I did the tissue boxes the other way, I'm not going to worry about too much. So turning this the other way, again you've got the green and kind of like barcodes showing through, which wasn't as pretty as the other side. So again, that nice contrasting colour there. Just use up whatever washi tapes you want to or need to use up. I get use a patterned ones more than I do the plain ones really. Let me give that a fold. This one was quite a big one. This is where the actual tab joined on, so I need quite a bit of washi tape on this one. So I'm going to use the wider one here. Lovely, that fits perfectly down there. And again, just trim off the bottom. Brilliant, it's got that fold there, lovely. And this one. The darker colours, I'm going in with a darker washi tape. Not that it matters. And again, got quite a wide one here. So going with that wider washi tape again. Ooh, got to end that one. Just enough. That actually blends in really well. The text of that looks really good. And again, that one's cardboard, so I'm happy with that one as it is. so make sure I fold it now back the right way round, and it'll be a bit more resistant this time because obviously that washi tape's on there. But that actually looks quite nice. I'm just making sure that's stuck on all those bits. So rather than having that green show through, now I've got that nice kind of washi tape effect. There we go. Okay, so front cover, I'm going to tackle this one first. Now, what I'm going to do on the aperture of here is I've decided to put a pocket on the inside of the aperture. Okay, so that's going to stick in on there. And then when you open it, that's kind of covered the aperture up. But what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to fussy cut this flower. This is also from the paper pad. And I'm going to work out where that needs to be stuck. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to lay that on there. I'm going to kind of mark out with pencil where I want this to go. So first of all, I'm going to cut this stamp off here because that can be used in something else. Chuck that in the scraps pile. So yeah, just fussy cutting around here, and then I'm just going to ink the edges slightly. And what I'm going to try and create on the front of the journal is kind of a collage effect with music paper. I've got a whole pack of kind of scraps. I was talking to someone online the other day on my Instagram channel. They'd done a lovely project using up some scraps. And that's one of the next thing I'm going to have a go at doing again, is just tackling that scrap pile. I think we as crafters try to save lots of things, and I sometimes think, actually, do I really want it? Am I going to use it? In my head I say yes. My husband does laugh when I go to put the rubbish out, and I'm like, oh no, don't throw that, I'll need that. It's like, for what? What are you going to use that for? Oh, you never know, it'll come in handy. So yeah, it's easy to kind of like keep these things, but we need to make sure that we're using them. There we go, it's a fine little flowery bit. Lovely, so that's just going to sit in there. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up the edges with a little bit of vintage photo. Just really on those outside edges. And lots of it. Because you can see then that kind of like really picks up the flower away from the page. I've had some lovely comments about my journal, so thank you for taking the time to comment. Those people that have commented, I really do appreciate it. It takes a long time to kind of prep these things and video them and edit them, so yeah, having little comments from people to say thank you and I've really enjoyed it, I'm going to have a go, just makes my day. It really, really does. And just that hitting that like button, you know, all of those things seem to make it all worthwhile, so thank you. Okay, so that's going to roughly stick on there, so I'm happy with that. I'll just double check again. Yep. So I'm just going to get my pencil just to mark roughly top and bottom of the leaf. In fact, I might just draw around it slightly. I can always rub that out just so I know when I come to stick it down again that's going to be in the right place. And just using this craft tacky glue. So again, just finding out where that went there and there. Just double check. Perfect. So that gives that lovely kind of rose on the front of there. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm happy with that's in the right place. I'm going to stick my pocket in. Just making sure I've got that on the glue the right sides. So just a small bead of glue around the edge. And then pop that in there. Perfect. So I'm just going to rub that down, give that a couple of seconds just to take hold. Now, that's going to be like this. Now, obviously, this is a pocket, so what I'm going to do as well is have something in here, because it's nice when the pocket's taken out, that it's obviously got this behind it, so it looks quite pretty. But also, when the whatever goes in there is going to then cover that up. So I'm going to need to make sure that the other side of my tag is quite pretty as well. So next thing I'm going to do is think about embellishing the outside of this. And on one of these postcards as well, there was this flower, so I've just fussy cut around that. And I'm going to do some collaging behind this. So this is just some of my scraps. This is just mainly my coffee dyed scraps, so coffee dyed paper, book paper, music paper in there. So I'm just going to bring in that. And just kind of like, oh, that's quite nice. So I might have that there. And yeah, just kind of like layering up the different pieces. Put that there. Have that sticking out there. And then my flower. I'm just going to tear that down just a little bit. That there. There. And then having that kind of flower on that like that. Also, I'd had all these, all the labels are fussy cut from the paper pad. These are all from this paper pad over here. All of these are still left over with the pictures, and there's so much in that pad. It's just amazing. It's only £8.99. Yeah, brilliant pad. I've also got these kind of numbers and things, which are obviously from Junk Journal Studio. So I'm a design team member for them. These are always really handy just to add little bits and pieces around on a junk journal. So I'm going to stick these down. I think I'm happy with that. So it's handy keeping this big bit on here, because obviously that's given me something to glue down. I'm just going to go around the edges. A tiny little bit of glue. That's why these nozzle tips are so handy, to do little small fussy bits like this. Put that one first. And this bit. And I always go around my edges first, and then on a little bit. And then in with that flower. What's there? There we go, so it's a front edge. And I'm just going to put kind of like a little number or something down there, just to cover up that kind of blank area. I think as you look at things, you can see where some things just need a little bit of a extra something. There we go. So down this side of the album, I'm going to actually put some lace. So I love this kind of vintage look lace. It's a lovely colour. So as I do, I'm going to put a bead of glue, and just as I do, always do, I squish that in down the side. So that's going to be down this side here. So I've got my hot glue gun. I think that's nearly heated up. So when I do this a small piece at a time. I'll just come in just to show you how I do this. So starting at the top, I'm going to run a small piece of glue. I'm going to have this to the right of me, and then decide on which bit you want sticking out. So I quite like this side of the lace is a little bit more ornate than this side, so I'm going to have that part sticking out, and I roughly do half on the journal, half off the journal, so you get that nice kind of like look of lace on the side, both the front and the back. So when I turn this over, you'll be able to see that lace showing through as well. Right, so small bead of glue, and I stop, pop the lace on, and then scrunch it into the glue. Okay, and then again, small bead of glue and scrunch that into the lace. And can you see it creates that kind of ruffle effect? But only do little bits at a time. Now scrunching it in. Just making sure that your lace is staying straight as well. To get too much glue on my fingers now. And then that last little bit just sticks down there. And then trim that off at the bottom. So there we go. And that creates that gorgeous ruffle effect on the side of your journal. Do get lots of glue on your fingers though, so I'm just going to quickly pick that off. And it just gives a really, really lovely effect of like a ruffle rather than a straight lace. And this thin lace is quite good for that as well. Right, most of that off. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I want something up here because it's quite blank at the top. And I've got this lovely stamp and it says travel journal on it. So I'm going to stamp that onto, let's see what I've got in here. It's an old bit of coffee dye paper or book page. It's quite wide. Let's see. Okay, so I've got some coffee dye paper there. So I'm just going to get my stamp and some black ink. Just pop that down there. There we go. So travel journal. It's a lovely little stamp that is. Don't ask me where it's from because I couldn't tell you. I've had that stamp quite a while. I think it was Amazon, possibly Amazon purchase. So I'm going to cut this out, and then I'm going to again layer that up with some collage. There we go. So that's going to go up there. I've just got some scraps of paper. Again, just going around the edges. Kind of gives it that burnt old document look. I like the little bits at the top as well. I'll pop that there. And have another bit of music paper. And if I do that way, that will over there. Okay, there. Let's get rid of these little bits. So in again with my tacky glue. There we go, I'm happy with that. So that's my front cover of my journal done. So moving on, made that lovely pocket on here. What I might do is come in with some of these little tags and bits and pieces to kind of like give some depth to this. Obviously they're just little bits and pieces, so just adding those little journaling spots is lovely, but then just to embellish them, rather than just having that as a plain piece of white card, it just adds that little something to it. Pop that there. Okay, happy with that. So that's our first pocket, and then in here we had a pocket. So I'm going to create some something down here, and I've got another stamp that came in that same set, and it's kind of like loads of different stamps from all over the world, and I'm hoping it's going to stamp on here quite straight. Obviously it's a junk journal, so it doesn't overly matter if it's not all the way, but it would be nice to make a good print on there. So it just takes that plain green and just makes it something a little bit special. So I'm going to start at the bottom, pop that down, and then just press really hard. Now I can see already that it's not printing in that middle bit, so I'm going to try and lift that slightly. I can't. I'm just going to pop my fingers in, but it's not going to work. What about if I put my ruler in? Just try and lift those bits up. Right. Not overly successful, but actually it's kind of like when things do get stamped in the post, I suppose they aren't always perfect. So I'm just going to try and do that bottom bit again. So I want to stamp up to about there. So again, just inking that last little bottom bit up again, just to make a continuation of the stamp. So pushing it down as hard as I can. There we go. So it's just taken that little edge off that green, and it's given us some of those frank marks. Quite like that effect actually. Okay, so in here I'm going to use some of these postcards as journaling cards. So because they've got writing on the back, all I'm going to do is just stick them down on some coffee dye paper. So I think I'm going to choose, I should quite like that one. That one there. And just come in with a regular glue stick. And then just go along the edges. Okay. And I'm going to glue that down on the edge so there's less cutting. And I might pop in another one. And again, these will then give, whoops, those nice spaces to write those your journaling on. Because obviously that's what our junk journals are all about. There we go. So just coming in with a pair of scissors. Okay, so that's given that card a nice backing now. That's just where the coffee dye's gone funny, but it looks quite nice. And that's given us a space to journal on the back as well. There we go. So it's going to get rid of that and pop those in there. Okay, now this next one I'm going to leave as it was because I'm quite happy with that there, because this space can be used for journaling on because of the way it is. Okay, because it's got that lines on there, so you could just journal straight onto that. So I'm going to leave that one as it is. The next one I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a pocket down here. So this was just the other side of that map. So I'm just going to pop that down. I've marked halfway along there, and I've got a 2-inch punch. I'm just going to punch a notch out with to create that little thumb notch, and then just come around and ink those edges. And that will just blend that stark green card in with the rest of the browns. I can see on YouTube that lots of people are getting their Christmas journal on now. I'm eagerly waiting a new release from the Junk Journal Studio. So they've just released their winter collage and cluster mega pack, which I've been playing with, but also I think there's something else in the pipeline for Christmas. So I'm so excited. Okay, so just 1, 2, 3 down there, just to stick that in. Just going to pop another bit down there, so it's quite thin. And I always like to leave just a little bit of a border all the way around the edge. There we go. So again, just going to come in with perhaps some of these little beautiful cards, and they can just be simply popped in there. Again, I will go back and put some coffee dye paper on the back of these, but just to show you that they will just pop in there like that. I get absolutely loads in this pack once you've sat and cut them all out, so don't be afraid of not having enough. There we go. So next page, I'm going to do the same as I've done before. So I'm going to stick down a pocket. I'm not going to put anything on this time, this time, because the tag I'm going to make is going to do the work for me. Okay, so just sticking this down as a pocket. I'm just wondering whether to do that way. Otherwise it's two dark papers together, so I might make that lighter. I can actually stick my pocket that way. There we go. So pop that on there. Oops. There we go. Okay, now this time with this pocket, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some card, because this is just like I used the other day. This is a cereal packet, so wheat bisques, and obviously the brown inside this is a lovely kind of brown. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to make a journaling card. So my journaling card is going to be, it's going to fit in here. So I'm going to make it 7.5 by, I'm going to make a nice big one, 7.5 by 4.5. So just pop that out of the way for now. So 4.5 inches wide. That doesn't look very straight to me. I'm going to cut that off, that wasn't very straight. By 7.5 inches long. Okay, so before I start doing anything with that, I'm just going to check my dimensions are right and make sure that fits in there nicely. Yep, so it's a nice big size journaling card here, almost the whole size of that. But what happens when you put it in there is on the other side, it shows through. So this space here is going to be where I'm going to do something. But first of all, to cover up all of that, this colour, I am going to come in and just masterboard it. So with my big pack of, I've got some German dictionary, I've got some book pages, I've got, oh, what have we got in here? Different book pages, music notes, and some of this. So all I'm going to do is just come in with this here and create a masterboard. Just going to grab my glue book quickly. So anyone who doesn't know, a glue book is an old book, obviously I don't use anymore, and I put my piece of paper down on here. This is for newbies, obviously if you're seasoned crafter you'll know what you're doing here. And this just acts as like a background for me to glue on. The pages then folded in half, and I use these to make tags with, so nothing goes to waste in that book. Okay. So I'm going to do this fairly big parts because I don't want to spend too long doing this. But this just is going to give me a nice background for that tag. In fact, I'm just going to speed this bit up, just so you're not sitting watching me make a masterboard. So there we have our masterboard, and it's not too bad on those edges. If there's anything leaning, coming over, just obviously give that a bit of a trim. So that was super quick to make and looks really effective. So I'm going to just corner around that because it's a journal card. I quite like my corners rounded. And then I'm going to ink all those edges as well. There we go. So we've got our masterboard on the back, masterboard on the front, journaling card space on the back. So on the front of here, I am just going to come along with some, I might just pop that on there. It's quite like this one actually. So I might do a pocket on here as well. I'm just going to come in with my smaller punch. Just take a little notch out of there. So it'll be a pocket on the front of the card, and then obviously you can write things on the back. So this would be a good place to keep tickets, or any ephemera you've got when you go on holiday. Lid on there. Okay. So gluing down those three sides just to create that pocket. Perfect. There we go. So that will then go inside here. And then when we've got that the other way, your ephemera and things you've got will show through in that little pocket there. So any tickets or maps or anything you've got will go into there. Now this page here, I'm going to use these postcards again just to create two little pockets. So I'm going to pop those together, and again just come in with my hole punch to create those little pockets. This is a nice easy way to create pockets with postcards because all the decorations kind of like done for you really. Again, just grunging them up, and then just have one at the top and one at the bottom. So I'm going to do the bottom one first, and then I can line the top one up with the bottom one. And again, in that paper pad, these are all in there, ready just to be cut out and stuck in. So I'm going to come quite down the bottom of that, try and make sure you've got the same gap either side, and actually it links in quite well with these lines on there. Okay, and then just do the same with the other one. And then line those up together. And again, I'm taking kind of like cues, should I say, from the things that are already in the paper. So yeah, two ready-made pockets. I haven't decided what to do on the back. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. So we're now on the other side. So this doesn't really have to do too much with this side because a lot of the things we've done on here already. So we've got the pocket here, or the gap that would have been your tissue box out, has now got this pocket on the inside and whatever ephemera you put in there. Again, we've got a pocket in here, so I could just come in, again, back in some of these and popping those in for journaling cards. Now, this bit here, I had an idea of putting some acetate on here. So I've cut a piece of acetate out. I'm just going to open this out. And I'm going to pop that on there. And what I was going to do is on this side, put some, or on the other side, just put some flowers and things on. I'm not too sure how this is going to work out. So, yeah, bear with. If it doesn't work, wouldn't do it again. So I'm going to come down with this is just a tape runner pen. So across the top, can't actually see what I'm doing on here. And the side. There we go. Just get rid of those bits that went off onto the side, otherwise my papers will stick to it. Okay, so I'm just going to come back in and I'm going to stick my acetate down on there. And because it's clear glue, tape runner pen, you can't actually see. There we go. So you can see where the edges are. So I'm going to come in with some of these little things like these little stamps, little tickets. And I'm just going to tear things around and just create kind of like a picture border around here. So just come back in with my wet glue, and all this does is it creates kind of like a collage around the frame, but it also masks the edge of the acetate. So coming along there, doesn't matter what you kind of like colours you're doing, things like that. So overlaying is just really to cover up that edge. And I've got these little tickets. Covers up that corner nicely. I should do it the other way around. Okay, so as you can see, all I'm doing is covering up the edge of that where that acetate was. Put that there. I love creating collages, it's one of my favourite things to do. I can actually tuck that under there. Too bright. And because you get so much of this ephemera in that paper pad, you really don't mind kind of like tearing up and using it like this at all. So again, I've got that corner bit there, so I want to cover that up there. So I'm going to come in with another one of those stamps. Just to link those together. Just kind of keep going around until you then meet yourself at the other side. I'm going to pop that under there. Okay, so just need something for that last little part in there. Okay, so that's created a kind of like little window junk. Now what I've got is I can't even remember where I bought these from. It looks like it wasn't Temu, it must have been, I don't know, sorry. And I was going to put some of these in the window. Now what I'm going to do is some one side and some the other side, because these are clear. My hoping is that they won't show through. Found it easy to turn the camera off because obviously that was taking some time to do those. So it gives that kind of like florally effect down the bottom on both sides of there. So that's on the side that we did the decoupage on. And that's the side with that. It kind of gives that just like a little mirror image in there. Okay, so on this page as well, I just went back while I was on here and thought I'm going to add a little something to there. So add a little number down there. So now I'm going to just go through and see what I've done so far. And then this is the point I think, right, what else can I add anywhere else? I'm happy with the front cover. I like the lace, and obviously got that little image in there for the pockets. Then we had another pocket here with a stamping on. We put those little postcards in. Then turning over the page, we've got this here. So I might just add a little something down the bottom of here, just to give it a little something extra. Perhaps a little ticket. Just gives more interest to the page. And again, with the Junk Journal Studio, these are the pack of labels. I'll link them down below. Because they're a digital kit, you can just obviously print off as many as you want when you want. So it just gives that a little bit of extra to that page. Again, I just did some extras on there. And then we need to put the backings on those to make those journaling cards. Then we had our nice big tag in here. We just got that on the front and a journaling space on the back. Then we made our two little pockets with our postcards, and then we have our back cover. And going the other way, we had the little space in there. We had another tuck spot in here, little side pocket where again we can put them journaling cards in. That was. Then on here we had the little yellow flowers, and again we've got another pocket at the front there. So there we go. So this was made from 3 tissue boxes, and obviously bits of scraps of paper, and that lovely beautiful pad, which again I'll link below, which I just love. And there we go, from junk to journal. So hope you're all doing well. give me a thumbs up if you like the project. Please leave a comment, because it is, like I said, really lovely for a crafter to do these kind of things, take the time to do it. So leave me a little comment of just what you think, or, you know, anything you want to add. Yeah, feel free to comment below. And I'll see you all again shortly for a video to use up all of my scraps. I'm just going to show you this. This is the mess that's left after a video. See you soon, crafty friends. Bye.